called Head, and then another song called Happy Song that was actually kind of got started in the alternative world, and the video for it was played on MTV's 120 Minutes, which was like their alternative video show back in the day. And
Right.
then Sister came out in early '96, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
that was the big song for us. But yeah, that festival you're talking about was a massive festival. I mean, it was like the Woodstock of the '90s, really, for North Texas. It was a
Yes.
massive weekend, and like you said, right, it was the Friday night before. We were the show that sort of opened the
The
event,
pre-party or whatever
the
you want to
pre-party
call it type
event,
thing. Yeah.
right, man. It was an amazing crowd, and that was a huge show for us, massive
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, definitely. And y'all are out of Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, the band, the Nixons started, and we were all from Oklahoma.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, really. Zach and Jesse met at the University of Oklahoma,
Okay.
and yeah, started playing there. It's funny. I actually joined the Nixons at the time. My wife and I, we had some family in California, and I was pursuing music, of course, and we had plans to maybe move to California. And I wanted to make some money, playing in a cover band or whatever I could do to make some money. And there was an all drum store here in Oklahoma City at the time called Just Drums, and the owner of that store told me about a band in Norman, Oklahoma, where the university was. They were a huge frat party band, air quotes here, that were really doing well.
Okay.
And I was, of course, wanting to be in an all original band and get the record deal, which is what you did in the '90s, right? You
Yeah.
wanted to get the record deal. You wanted to get signed. That's what it was all about. So yeah, I'll go play and check out this frat party, cover band. Well, I joined them, and yes, they had been, but they had just signed an independent deal with a label called Dragon Street Records. They were going from cover band to all original. They were writing music, and so it was sort of interesting. I got in. We did a couple of frat parties. Yes, it was great money, but we'd go to Dallas, where we were trying to break into the Dallas music scene, which Deep Ellum was an amazing music scene in the '90s.
Hmm.
And we were starting from scratch there. We started out playing their tribute band night. So they would do on a Monday night, they'd do like either a Black Sabbath night, and you'd get up, they'd have 2 or 3 different bands, brand new bands. You would play maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you would do 4 or 5 covers. So they had a Black Sabbath night, they had a Kiss night, and we played both of those. The first time we ever played, it was like for the bartenders of this venue called Trees.
Oh yeah.
Legendary
Yeah.
venue. Nirvana played there, Pearl Jam. It was like the venue to get into. And the first time we ever played it was, like I said, it was Kiss or the Black Sabbath tribute night, one of the two. We played both, and the bartenders were like the only people that thought we were great. And we saw that slowly build over time to finally headline that venue like 2 years later, which had held about 1,000. It was great. And when we finally were being courted by MCA Records, our showcase was at that club, totally packed house. And so full circle, I found this band in Oklahoma, and I thought I was joining sort of a cover band to make money to go to California, but really I found everything I wanted in a band that was doing original music, trying to get a record deal. And you couldn't deny the talent of the band. Zach Malloy is the front man for the group, and he's an incredible singer, and he is still in the business. He's a songwriter, does very well. He lives in Nashville. He's a songwriter. That's what he does every day. He gets up and he writes songs, co-writes songs. And you couldn't deny the talent of this band. And I just told my wife, I think there's something special with these guys, and I really want to stick with it. So I think we're going to hold off moving to California, and I really want to see where this will go. And it was about 2.5 years later then the Nixons got signed to MCA.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. And what the first album was it was an EP, right?
Right. So that independent release, that first one, Dragon Street, right, was an EP
Hmm.
called Six,
Yes.
and because they had 6 songs, and yeah, that was the EP that kind of kicked it off.
I
I
never put that together, 6 songs.
right,
It's
right,
simple, but it works. It's good, I mean,
yeah, yeah. And I joined the band formed in like '89 or '90, and
okay.
I joined in '92. So I'm not on that first EP, that Dragon Street thing. Like I said, I discovered that they had signed with Dragon Street, They had recorded the EP, and their drummer, I guess, for whatever reason, maybe wasn't interested in the direction it was going, and pursuing the record deal or whatever, starting over. I'm not too sure what, but they felt that I was a really good fit. I auditioned, and I had learned E6, the EP, because that was part of my audition, was to play those songs. So I went in and I guess nailed it, and joined the band in '92, and we were off and running.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. And then the first album was that Foma?
Yeah, the first official release was Foma. We had an album in between Six and Foma,
Mm-hmm.
another independent release
Oh,
that
okay.
we put out
Okay.
called Halo. And Halo has the original version of Sister. And again, the power of radio, and you can't even do this now, but we had management, the Nixons had management at the time. They got us on local radio. That's Dallas radio and Oklahoma, and
Mm-hmm.
got Sister on the radio. And we had put out Halo, and that was a full length album. And that thing took off, and we ended up selling 12 or 15,000 CDs of our. That was something we put out on our own. We got it into record stores locally, but we got it on the radio, which was just amazing. And just the classic, people would call in request, and it went from being on a radio station's local show to being in regular rotation on the radio.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was amazing. And major labels took interest because we were doing it on our own and selling, great in our region, in our part of the country, in Oklahoma and Texas. And we had built a fan base in that 2.5 years, all through Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, having sold out shows and venues, and then getting on the radio, selling our own CD. And MCA was the label we decided to go with. We re-recorded a few songs that were on Halo. And then we added some new songs that we had just written. Foma was brand new at the time. Another song called Sweet Beyond, song called Passion. We added that along with some re-recorded songs from Halo, and that became Foma. And that was the first major label release.
Okay. Okay. I think because I heard this song, yes, y'all played this song in Texas Motor Speedway for that VH1 thing. Baton Rouge, was it Baton Rouge?
Yeah, Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the second album.
Okay,
Yeah.
second album, right?
Yeah, second major label album. That was self-titled, and Baton Rouge was the first single off that. And
right.
Baton Rouge did really well for us too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like a top 10, top 5 rock track, radio track. Awesome. So it did very well for us too.
Okay. Okay. So now let's see, when did you join Seether? Was that 2000, 2002?
2000, yeah, 2003 actually.
3, okay.
Yeah, 2003. Okay. Yeah, the Nixons disbanded in 2000, or went on hiatus, or whatever you call it. And so in 2003, and my Seether story sort of connects via the Nixons. So the Nixons had a sound engineer all the way through, great friend of mine, great sound engineer, who when the Nixons disbanded, he started working obviously for other bands. He started working for Drowning Pool. I don't know if you remember that band.
Love Drowning Pool.
Yeah, on their song Bodies.
Yes.
And they were doing really well. And he was really tight with their original singer, David Williams, who passed away. Yeah. And so there were some changes there, and obviously very sad. But on Wind Up was another band starting out. Wind Up was the same label that Drowning Pool was on.
The biggest independent label ever, I think.
That's right. That's right. And
Creed was on signed, there. Finger
that's
11.
Right. Creed, Evanescence.
Yeah.
And then this new band they had just signed, a new album was coming out called Seether. And Howard started running live sound for them. He was their front of house engineer. And they came over as a 3-piece. It's a pretty amazing story, right? Sean and Dale, the guys that started the group, the band originally started in South Africa.
Right.
They got the deal with Wind Up, and they moved to the States, left their families and and everything behind. They were in their early 20s to move to the United States to, they got the record deal to really kind of go for it. And they put out the first album, Disclaimer. And their drummer, I guess their original drummer, I don't know, didn't quite cut it in the studio. So he didn't track the first album. Anyway, they needed a drummer, and they were having trouble. They had some hired guns kind of guys from LA come in, and Howard just kept suggesting, this friend kept going, look, I've got a drummer that would fit you guys really well. I think he'd really fit you well. You need to check him out. So, and that was me. So that was in 2003. They were on
Way to go,
tour. They
Howard.
came, yeah, thank you. He came through Dallas. They were on tour, and they set up a kind of a quiet audition. I think there were 3 other guys that tried out as well, and I was the last guy to go in. And I was supposed to try out 4 songs. We're gonna play 4 songs. I had learned all of Disclaimer, all of the first album, so we ended up basically running the entire set they were doing at the time, and that was it. They were like, "Yeah, this feels great," you know. And 2 weeks later, I was playing live with Seether. The first show was in Riverside, California. It was like a small club. And then my second show was in front of 22,000 people, opening for Evanescence in Mexico City.
Nice. Okay.
And that was
Very
outside of
cool.
United States and Canada. I had not been out of the country. And so here I am in Mexico City. I'm backstage. I've got my iPod. I'm still frantically listening to the music because I'm nervous, and I've only played 1 show with them, and I've just learned all this material. And, you know, they're in the middle of a tour, so I jump right in.
Yeah,
So it definitely was a trial by fire thing. But yeah, my second show was Mexico City. Pretty crazy.
that's awesome. Now, the song Gasoline is on that first album, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. I was thinking that. I wasn't quite sure. So, but that was huge on the radio, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the first track on the album. And it's the first track. It's an opening. It opens our set and has for years. We've tried other songs, but Gasoline like sets the tone. It's like a great opening song, great
right.
opening set. It just really kind of dials it in for us, and we still to this day, Gasoline's like the song that kicks it off, and it's a great starter, man. And we've tried other songs, but that one just works.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool, man. You know, it's a great success story. I mean, you know, you started out with the Nixons. They made it, you know, and then that disbanded, and then yeah, you end up with Seether, and I mean, who else? I mean, that's a great band to end up with, you know.
Yeah, it was
And
amazing.
and it wasn't like they had been together and been over here and put out 2 or 3 albums. I mean, you
Right,
got in right there, like you said, starting out with the very first tour. I don't know if it was their
right.
very first tour, but I mean, you know, you went right in the middle of the tour, playing
Yeah.
drums. So I mean, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Right, right. I just was ending the Disclaimer tour,
Hmm.
and they had done they had done Ozfest up to that point, and
Okay.
really it was sort of a continuation for me. I felt like I joined Seether picking up right where I sort of had left off, you know, with the Nixons. We had, you know, with the Nixons, I went through. We all were in a van together, and then we got the RV, and then we got our first bus, and we had a couple of buses, and I joined Seether, and they're like on their second or third bus, and it was sort of like, sort of that continuation. I have to say, the first year, you know, I was with Seether. One of the first things we did, I talk about Mexico City, but I mean, the first year and a half, we played so many shows overseas, which was great for me because the Nixons had never really been out of the United States other than
Yeah.
Canada. So we're doing this, you know, these tours in Europe. We're opening for Evanescence. We go in to record what was supposed to be the second album. We record Broken, which was the duet
Right.
we did with Amy Lee from Evanescence. And we put that on the Punisher soundtrack, and that thing becomes a hit. It just takes off. So we
Yeah.
end up going overseas with Evanescence and doing that for like a year, right as I joined the band. So it was amazing. So I felt in a lot of ways it kind of left off. It picked up right where the Nixon's story sort of left off, and it was sort of a continuation
Yeah.
for me. So yeah, it was great.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. So what drums do you play?
So yeah, I'm with WFL3, which is William F. Ludwig III. It's his new drum company,
Okay.
And of course, we know of the famous Ludwig drums.
Right.
And the family sold the brand, the name, in the early '90s to Con Selmer. And his father retired, and Bill moved to Hawaii. He had a venue restaurant in Hawaii. And then in 2014, he sort of got this itch to get back into the drum making business again. And he started making snares. And that slowly he got a partner, and that turned into kits. And they're made just like Ludwig drums. They're made in the United States. They have the reinforcement rings at the top and bottom, just like the original Ludwig. And then their snares are unbelievable. But yeah, Bill, William Ludwig III, B3, we call him. Bill
Mhm.
called me. A mutual friend put us in contact. I had been playing with Ludwig, but Bill called and we talked, and he introduced himself. And it's just so surreal for me to be talking to this, this
Legend.
legend, man. I mean, yes, legend of the drum making world, his
Yep.
family. It's just unbelievable. In so many ways, I wish my dad were still here. My dad got me my first drum set. It was Christmas, and it was a Ludwig. It was a used kit, but I mean,
Mhm.
it didn't matter to me. It was a set of drums, and I was in heaven. And they were a
Right.
set of mid '60s Ludwigs, man, silver
Ooh.
sparkle Ludwigs. I loved them.
Ah,
And here we are, full circle, and I'm working with Bill and this amazing drum company. So yeah, man, WFL3, they're amazing, and
very
it's just
cool.
amazing to be working with him.
Yeah. I had a Bonham series, Green Sparkle,
Oh
um,
yeah,
with the 26 kick, I think it was a 14 times 16, 18 or something like that.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm not a drummer, but I tried. So,
Oh,
but
that's amazing. Those sizes bottom, they were huge. I had what the anniversary Zepp set for a while, which was
uh
those acrylic, those sort of amber orange acrylic
oh,
drums,
yes.
like he
Love
played
those.
in The Song Remains the Same.
Hmm.
And it was a huge, 14 by 26-inch kick, huge
Yes.
bass drum, like you mentioned, 14-inch rack, which I wasn't used to. I mean, that's like a monster rack. I'm used to like a 14-inch snare, maybe a 12 or 13-inch rack, but the
Uh-huh.
14, 16, 18, man, this thing was just a beast. It was amazing.
Yes.
And yeah, those bottom sizes, they're
Oh,
they're
yeah. Oh,
they're
yeah.
just huge.
They're great for live. I don't really recommend them, as far as studio, but
Yeah,
it gets kind of lost and muddled in a studio.
right,
But
right.
in my
I bet.
opinion, other people probably love it. But
Yeah, it
so
depends on a song, maybe a certain song, depending on if it's slow and sort of open and you
right,
want that bottom sound,
yeah,
you're not close micing, that it could be great. And I had it in my music room just to mess around and jam with. It was very cool. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it isn't like my setup. It isn't like my most comfortable sort of thing. So I
yeah,
had a lot of fun and played some Zep stuff. And
hmm,
but yeah, my sizes are a little bit different.
yeah, yeah. Okay, very cool. Endorsed by any cymbals or drumsticks or anything?
Yeah, yeah. So I play Sabian. I've been with Sabian
Okay.
cymbals a long time.
Always, I was a cheap guy. I bought the Sabian B8 Pro
Yeah, BA
series.
Pros are
B8.
they're pretty good, man. They're really good.
You buy.
Nothing
I think
wrong
it
with the
was
BA Pros.
under 300 for the whole set.
The whole
And
set. Yeah, man. That's a great. They're good cymbals. I have a
oh
couple
yeah,
of them. I
I
practice
could.
kit.
I
Oh
never broke
yeah.
one. Knock on wood, but yeah.
Yeah, man. Great deal. Yeah. Those are awesome cymbals. Yeah, I love Sabian.
Hmm.
And yeah, and so I became a Sabian endorser during my days with the Nixons. So I've been with them ever since.
Okay.
Uh, and I play Vic Firth
Okay.
sticks with Vic Firth, and my drum heads are Evans. I'm with
Okay.
Evans,
Yeah.
and yeah, great drum heads.
Okay. Yeah, I was playing the on that. Actually, I take that back. I got rid of that Bonham kit and got a God, I think it was a black Mapex, and I put the Evans. Oh gosh, the Tommy Lee heads that had the black circle in the middle and the black stripe around the outside.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Something I
yeah.
forget what they were called, but anyway. So yeah, but it didn't matter. None of that stuff to help me play better. But
they're good heads though, man. They're easy. They make it easier to tune your drums. So
Oh, okay.
hopefully they helped you out in that
I had a
way.
friend that came over and tuned them for me, so I never had to
Oh,
worry with
okay,
that. But
cool. You still have a drum set?
no, I don't. When we moved, I got rid of most everything, and just we live in a townhome, and there's no
Yeah.
way. I turned my guitar amp on like 2, and it's still too
Okay.
loud, you
Ah,
know. So
yeah.
yeah, um,
But you got to get you a set of electronic drums, man. I've had those too. Those are great for volume. You can even do
yeah.
headphones. Those
Oh
are
yeah,
and the mesh
definitely.
heads and the way they do them now. They feel like a real set of drums, man. They feel great.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I get a chance and go in somewhere, it's got them. I sit down and put headphones on, and you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very cool. Um, so yeah, what other? So have y'all ever been to? I don't know if you can or can't or whatever, but have Seether ever been back to, excuse me, South Africa and played?
Yeah, I always say it's one of the perks of being in this band. We haven't been back in several years, but yeah, I've been there 4 or 5 times,
Okay.
and yeah, I played Johannesburg, Cape
Hmm.
Town, Port Elizabeth. Yeah, beautiful country, and obviously their families are back there and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been great to go back and play there. And my first time to be there was for New Year's Eve, 2003, 2004. So again, I had just joined the band like October of 2003. So 2.5 months later, I'm in South Africa for New Year's. So pretty amazing sort of memory of that. But yeah, yeah, beautiful country. And so, um, yeah, I can't say yes. I've been to South Africa a few times.
That's awesome. That's cool. I know. Don't know how many times y'all have played there, but y'all did play. I want to say it was during our state fair, but it was inside the Coliseum at Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Seether played there, and um, I don't remember who in the world was with y'all, but it was early, not early, early, but 2004, 2005 ish,
Okay.
somewhere around there, maybe not
Yeah.
positive,
Yeah.
but that was our big, place to play, and they don't even do shows there anymore. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but but yeah, so but yeah, y'all played there, and I have no idea what I was doing that night, but I did not get to see y'all for some reason. I don't know why, but
Ah, you
so
missed us.
anyway, but yeah, man. And come to think of it, you were out on the road with Seether in 2019. This was the end of 2019.
Right.
My band played with the Nixons and Sponge at
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was the Thompson House over in Covington, Kentucky, and
Right.
we opened the show. Well, actually, another band opened the show, and then it was us, then y'all. Or well, you weren't there. Your son was there,
Right.
and then Sponge was the headliner.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, that was a killer night, fun night.
Yeah. I'm sorry I missed that tour. Yeah, Cedar was preparing to record and I was learning new music and we were working through music to for the latest album.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that was December 2019. So Bry Jackson did that tour for me so I could kind of get ready because I remember he came back and then right after Christmas, we went right into the studio to do the album in
Yeah,
January.
and then COVID hit not much
And
longer
then
after that.
COVID hit. Right, we had just wrapped it, we had just mixed it, and that was like early February, and then by March, man, everything had changed.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah.
Did y'all get any shows in that year in 2020?
No, we did a live stream. We were like
Okay.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. I drove to Nashville. We did a live stream
What
and
was that? Was
performance.
that part of Monsters of Rock?
No, it was our own thing.
Okay, okay, I wasn't sure
Yeah,
because I knew
yeah,
Monsters of Rock was doing a thing in a big studio in Nashville
right,
with the big
right.
stage and everything, so okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was just our own thing, our own live stream, and it was
Right.
just us. Yeah.
Was that for, not really a release, but well, when did y'all end up being able to release that album?
So yeah, the album finally was released in August of 20, and
Okay.
which was the last album, Siwi Pacem Parabellum, and so we were finally able to tour in 21,
Right.
and kind of get back to it a little bit, which was it was a lot of fun, which would have been sort of last spring and summer. We did a tour with Three Doors Down,
Oh,
and
oh wow.
it was
Okay.
great, and it was right before everything was like full on back, right?
Yeah.
We flew, which planes weren't quite totally packed again. I
Mhm.
will say it was like some of my best experiences flying. It was like so much easier. Um, you could tell this summer, man, delayed flights and
Oh gosh.
lost luggage and all that crap is kind of back again. And last summer was like just kind of the best travel situation. And the shows were great, well attended. We did a lot of amphitheaters with Three Doors Down, and the shows were great. And then, like I said, we're back this spring and summer with just with Breaking Benjamin, and then now with Everclear, and yeah, everything's full on back. But we were finally able to do some touring back in 21, and the first show was in Ohio, and someone came up to me this last weekend, and I forget which town. It was an amphitheater, but that first show back, man, it was sort of a spiritual experience. I mean, it
Mhm.
was like we were in tears playing, really were. You could tell the audience. It was just, I didn't think that I would ever take it for granted. I always just assumed I would come home after making an album or a tour, and we'd have a few weeks off and be right back to it. I never thought for a minute that there would be what happened, the
Yeah.
pandemic, and will we ever do this again, and will
Right.
we ever get to play shows again, and what's going to happen, and oh my god, and and just to be able to play that first show back was just so amazing, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so much fun, and it really was a sort of a spiritual experience. I don't know how else to say it, that first show back.
Yeah. Now with the last album being made and everything, and it took y'all to 21 to get out on the road to any kind of support for it. But did it ever go to radio before that? Anything off of that album?
Yeah,
Was it pushed or not? I wasn't sure. So
a lot of great. Actually, we had one of our most successful track records was this last album. We had three singles go number one.
oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
Dangerous was the first one.
Hmm.
And Wasteland, which was the second one, and what was the other? What was it? Was it Bag? I'm trying to think. Um, Losing track of my singles, but we had three number ones off this last album, which was
That's
which was
amazing.
great.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't I'm I don't know if this is correct in saying, but maybe not being on the road and not being able for people to go see shows, maybe that helped, you know. Um
Well,
People
and I
just
will
at
say it's
home
kind of going.
listening to stuff.
Yeah, I will say again, it kind of goes back to Seether has been able to establish a great relationship with rock radio.
Right.
From the early
Exactly.
days, we've had a lot of support, and we
Hmm.
still do to this day. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the other number one was Bruised and Bloodied.
Oh,
That
yeah, okay,
that
that
was
one. I
yeah, that
remember
was
that one.
those were the three,
Right.
and yeah, I mean, so those Dangerous especially had done really well for us before we even did the Three Doors Down tour. So yeah, man, I will say radio's always been just amazing for us, and
That's
Seether
awesome.
has, yeah, a great relationship with rock radio, and so they were there for us. And so when the album and the singles started coming out in summer of 20, even they were playing it a
Yeah.
lot. And we were just itching to get back out there. And it was so hard because we didn't know if we were going to want to just sit on the album and not release it, wait till it all, but we just didn't know how long the whole thing would go on. So we
Right.
finally decided in August of that year to put it out.
Okay.
But yeah,
Because
it
a
did really
lot
well for us. And the radio support was amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean the videos too. So which there's no format for that anymore. It's all YouTube or whatever. But
Right.
you know, um, but yeah, the a lot of people didn't a, a lot of people didn't release until 2021, you know.
Right. Right.
Um and just set on it and held on it, and so many people did so many collab,
Yeah.
things. Did you ever do anything like that with anybody?
It's funny, we just did a collaboration with Gavin Rossdale from Bush
No
for
way.
a single off the album called What Would You Do? And
Okay.
yeah, which was something that has just happened. So that was really cool. And obviously, you talked about Bush being at that festival. I mean, another
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
of the 90s era that were amazing. And yeah, so that collaboration just happened.
Okay.
So that was definitely like sort of a post-pandemic thing. But yeah, that's kind of cool when that can happen. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I saw a lot of cool things, happen like that. From different guys with Anthrax and other bands, and um, Chris Jericho
yeah,
and PJ Farley and a couple other guys doing the Kiss thing, the quarantine.
right.
Um, just some really cool stuff happened, in that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. And the Nixons, even we put out a couple of just, we had to kind of figure out how we had to do the editing, right? Because
mhm.
Zoom became the
Yeah,
new thing,
exactly.
right? We had to figure out how Zoom worked. And we shot the videos individually, and then we had somebody edit it and put it together. We did a couple
Right.
of videos, that from home or,
Hmm.
remote or,
Yeah, everybody playing in
socially
their
distanced.
home studio or
Right.
somewhere, the living room or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I was happy to play, man. And
Yeah.
so I had my little setup, and my youngest son did, some camera work for me and shot some video, and we put some things together. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, at least it was something, to do, and, a way
Yeah.
to connect with people and but you're right. There's, yeah, a lot of great stuff that kind of came out of that
Oh
during
yeah.
that time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So would you cut your teeth on as far as drummers or as far as just music? Um, and
Oh man.
who inspired you to pick up the drumsticks, but also who inspired you to say, I just want to do rock and roll, no matter if it was drums the first thing you picked.
Right, right. Well, I'm a rock drummer and a rock guy through and through, and my gateway, because of my age and how I grew up, when I grew up, Kiss was really the first thing for me,
Hmm.
and I was a huge Kiss fan. I was just right at that age, perfect, young enough to remember when the movie was on TV, Kiss Meets the Phantom was on TV, and so they were like the perfect introduction, right? You're this little kid, and it's sort of that superheroes meets music, so they
Right.
were sort of the gateway for me. And I had the live albums, Kiss Alive, Kiss Alive 2. My brother had Kiss Alive 2, and we would share those albums. And that great sort of gatefold inside shot of the stage and all the flames on Kiss Alive 2, man, I would just put on the record and stare at that thing for hours and
Oh
listen to the drum solos, of course.
yeah.
And I had sticks, and I would be in my room. I set my pillows up and everything, and do play along with Peter Criss. And Peter Criss was my guy, and Kiss, kind of started it off for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm an '80s kid, man. I grew up on '80s music, arena rock. I went to all the shows, and I
Hmm.
loved, Alex Van Halen
Okay.
and Steve Smith from Journey, and of course John Bonham.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of rock drummers. I'm a huge Tommy Aldridge fan.
Oh
Um,
yes.
I
Tommy
saw him with
Aldridge.
Whitesnake.
He's from Pearl, Mississippi, where I lived.
Wow, man, he's amazing. Back when he had the home video, a lesson he would teach. It was an instructional video, and there was like
Okay.
again that drum store that was here, and those videos were so expensive back in the day, but you could rent it, take it home for the weekend.
Oh,
And I
okay.
can't tell you how many weekends I took home his instructional video and watched it over and over and over. Love Tommy Aldridge, but yeah, and I
That's
finally got
awesome.
to see him with Whitesnake
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
open
Me too.
for Motley Crue on the Girls, Girls, Girls tour.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was for a drummer, that was the night, man, because Whitesnake opens, Tommy Aldridge does an amazing drum solo, which is opening for, Motley Crue. where Tommy Lee's going to come out and do the whole cage and the upside down drums and the whole thing. So
Flipping
being a
and
drummer,
turning and
man,
twisting and oh yeah.
oh
Oh yeah.
man, I was in heaven. I was just like, holy crap. The second coming with these two drummers that night really had an effect on me. It's
Yeah.
just, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I started playing in bands when I was 13 or 14,
Okay.
garage bands, buddies in school,
Yeah.
jamming. I played with some older guys. I played a few clubs where I wasn't even old enough to be in the club. I'd have to stand outside on breaks, because I wasn't even of age, legal age to be there. And yeah, I played through a lot of bands, and then finally, joined the Nixons uh, when I was 21. So
Yeah.
that's what got it off and going for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, one of my biggest not influences, but one of my most favorite drummers. And it was actually, I saw them. It was actually my first rock concert I ever went to was '84. Saw Bon Jovi open for Rat. And Bobby Blotzer just, that
Yeah,
son of a bitch laid down a groove like
yeah,
nobody else, man. It
amazing,
was,
great drummer.
yes, just, um, you know, lay it down. God, what was that song? Off of Dance, Dance, Dance. I can't remember God. Anyway, just,
Yeah,
I mean, just
yeah.
killer grooves, man. That dude was
Yeah,
amazing.
unique. Lay it
Yeah.
down. You mentioned,
Uh-huh.
is that sort of unique Bobby Blotzer groove. It's just, yeah, he was great. I mean, you can say what you want about the '80s bands. With Eddie Trunk, I hate that they use the term hair bands. Because a lot of those guys were amazing musicians, man,
Yeah.
great players, and that's the stuff
Yes.
I grew up on. And those guys were great players, man.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know the
Absolutely.
guy's name, but the drummer for Firehouse was just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He was a phenomenal drummer. Hell, the damn guy that played with White Lion,
yeah,
a good drummer, and he showed that
yeah.
off on what was that cover they did, Radar Love, you know.
Right, right.
Um,
And then I
this,
love Bloss from Slaughter. I saw
oh
Slaughter and
yes, oh
Winger,
yes, hell yeah.
Which is Rod Morgenstein, and
Hmm.
I'm Bullet Boys, and I
Oh, and the
forget
guy
his
that
name,
played for
Jimmy. Bullet Boys,
he played for
Jimmy something.
the he played for the
Can't
Cure,
remember
not the
his.
Cure. Damn it, what's that band? The Cult. Um,
Oh yeah.
oh,
And then you speak of the cult. Matt Sorum.
Sorum. That's it. That's who I
Yeah,
was thinking
yeah,
of. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
All those
man.
guys, man, just
Yeah.
great, great drummers.
Oh yeah.
Just great musicianship, great players. Like you said,
What
laid it down.
what do you think about Dave Grohl?
I love Dave Grohl.
I do
But
too,
what's
man.
funny, and I love Nirvana, but what sold me was Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf, man. That's the song.
Yes.
That was the album that changed me, because I love Nirvana and his playing
Hmm.
is incredible. But it was that Queens album. I really got in, and it took, appreciation of his playing, like went to the next level for me with him.
Yeah.
And that album really did that for me.
Yeah. I think the second Foo Fighter album is the one that did it for me. The
Oh yeah,
the
Color in the
color and the
Shade.
shape. Yes,
Yeah,
because I
it's
mean,
great.
he got rid of Goldstein and had to go back in, and he replayed all the drum tracks and just,
Yeah.
and plus the first album, I mean
Oh yeah.
those songs were just killer, but they were real. It was a lot rawer,
Right.
not rawer.
Right.
That's not a word, but more raw.
Right.
But but yeah, one of my biggest influences for all. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you mentioned a little while ago that Seether, their last album, was the one that came out in 2020, or the song that y'all finished in 2020 and toured with it 2021. What are
Right.
the plans for a new album? Or are there any right now?
Yeah. Well, Sean is starting to write and do demos now, and so the plan for us is we've got a few shows left for this year, and we and the big festivals in September. We've got Rocklahoma
Oh yeah,
and Blue Ridge
Blue
Mountain
Ridge Rock
Fest.
Fest,
Rock. Yeah.
Blue Ridge, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of those are in September, and and then we will begin and work on a new album right after the new year. So January of 23, we'll
Okay.
begin work and recording. Yeah, the next album.
Okay. Okay. Now I know because I know the Nixons just put one out not too long ago. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
we just did an EP. Yeah,
right,
right before this tour.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So
EP called Kaleidoscope.
yes, Kalaska, that's it. That's
Yeah,
for some reason I can never remember the name of that. But I tell you
unique
what,
name.
man, the album y'all did 2019. Um, hold on, don't say it. Crutch. That
Yeah,
song moves me.
awesome. Thank you.
That damn song should be the first. That should be the opening song for shows. I just that some bitch gets me motivated, man. It's
That's awesome.
just one foot in front of
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. It's a burner, man. It's a
yes.
burner, and I have to give credit. The music and a lot of the songs off that EP were written by Ricky, our bass player. The ideas, the nucleus, sort of came from Ricky Brooks, or the bass player for the Nixons,
Hmm.
and he's the one that came up with the riff for Crutch.
Okay.
And yeah, and brought it. And I have to give Zach again credit, man. He can find melody and has a real knack for that, and came up with a great melody and lyric for that. And yeah, so Crutch, right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a single off the EP from 2019.
Yes. Yes. I used to do a radio show on Rock Rage Radio. I had my own time slot, and I wore that son of a bitch out. I wore that song out on there.
Oh wow.
Every, damn near every week for like 2 or 3 years, or at least 2 years. But yeah, because I follow y'all on everything, and saw where the video had just been released and stuff, and I went and checked it out, and I was like, this is just, this is too damn cool. So,
Oh,
so
thank
yeah,
you.
man, yeah, definitely killer stuff. But
Appreciate that.
I wish I love the Nixons, but I wish there were more songs in that direction, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I love the melodies, I love all the stuff, but
Yeah.
um, you know, I'm a guy that likes Motley Crue, the Nixons,
Yeah. Yeah.
Seether, but I turn around, I like Anthrax and Megadeth and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a little
Yeah.
bit of everything. So,
Right.
I got a little bit of a hard edge to me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And the EP from
So,
that, there's another song you should check out. It's called Letters, that was on that EP.
okay.
And it's a cool song too. There's a couple of things nuggets that Ricky, again, I have to give him credit for those musical ideas that were all part of that, and Crutch being one.
Yeah.
But Crutch was the first one. It's funny, it was the first song that was from that batch of songs, and really kind of set the tone for everything. And I remember getting that track and yeah, having a lot of fun doing the drums for that. I just kind of, yeah, just kind of, I will say Grohl is a great inspiration for a lot of direction mentally. I always kind of, what would Grohl do? Not comparing myself at all to him, but I'm just saying,
Right. Right.
how would he approach this? Because
Hmm.
his parts, they're simple, but they're smart, and they
Yes.
have a lot of power behind them, and that power and that energy just comes across in everything he does. And I
Right.
totally appreciate that. And I try to think that, get in that space anytime I'm doing a drum part for a new song.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I sit back and I love Nirvana when they first came out. Of course, I was all, killed the '80s hair bands, blah blah blah,
right,
whatever. And then I found a new. And to be honest with you, I listened to, I had a couple of their CDs and stuff, and then I went to, and then when the Foo Fighters came out, I had no idea that he was the drummer for Nirvana. So I I wouldn't jump on a bandwagon or anything. You know what I'm saying? I
right,
fell in love with the Foo Fighters. First song I ever heard was um, "I'll Stick Around" or something like that. I can't remember, but
right,
anyway. And then the second album was my favorite of all. And then,
yeah,
but the older I've gotten, and I sit around, and I think about it, and this is just my opinion, but I mean, Dave, the way, like you said, the way he plays the drums, the emotion he plays them with, how hard he hits them, just there's not a lot of dynamics there either. Like Taylor was a killer dynamic drummer and just
Yeah.
intricate and all kind of different stuff. And Dave's just a
Right.
rhythm type basher,
Yeah. Yeah.
and um, to me, I feel like a lot of that first album, not the first Nirvana album, but the one that he was on, his drumming helped those songs become
Oh
what they
yeah.
were, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just my opinion. But
Yeah, absolutely. And signature drum parts that, when somebody listens to it, you air drum along or whatever, it's,
mhm.
that intro drum fill to Smells Like Teen Spirit. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
a
just
classic.
it's a classic, it's a hook. It's a hook.
Exactly.
And as a
It's
drummer, that's what you want to do. Yes, we supply the beat, the groove, the tempo. That's our gig. I understand. But and I know a lot of players show off and like to do flashy stuff.
yeah,
I'm more of the mindset, man. You want to do something if you can contribute to the song that's also a hook in a way. I mean, it's
yeah,
something I try to do. That's it's again, that's what I mean by being smart and being, economical with his parts. They're just, smart drum parts and they're hooks unto themselves. And now,
mhm,
as he's fronting Foo Fighters and he's a killer guitar player, you see, he's a musician, he understands how things work together. And, he has a musical aspect to his drumming as well. And those drum parts had hooks, especially in Nirvana. They had little drum hooks that were
yeah,
just as essential parts of the song, just as the lyric or the melody or anything else, was so important to a song.
right. Kind of
Yeah,
like,
his drumming made a difference.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I don't think if he wouldn't have been in the band, I don't think they would have ever been what they
No,
were. Just but and it's also like I can't remember the damn's name of the song, but it's Led Zeppelin, and it's the
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Ocean, one of my
yes,
favorite
that's it.
songs.
That's it. You know, just stuff like that, man. The drums just paint a picture, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
so important.
Tons of
And
stuff out
something
there.
about that as a kid, man, I connected. You talk about the ocean. That's like one of my favorite Zeppelin songs.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to be part of a Bonzo Bash they're doing in Kansas City in October. And it's the first time that I've done one of those things. I'm a huge Bonham fan, but they asked me, like, what 3 or 4 songs do you want to do? And my first one was like, I want to play The Ocean. I love that song, man. I mean, as a drummer, that's like the part. And
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, something about that, connected, clicked with me. I can remember again another video I rented back when you had to rent videos and take them home was the movie The Song Remains the Same,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and his playing and watching his drum Moby Dick over and over,
Yes,
man. It was
Moby. I was
just
just fixing to say that Moby Dick. Yeah.
that thing, that video changed my life, man. I mean, I was fortunate, I guess, in a lot of ways to grow up. We take it for granted now. YouTube, you can just go see anything now in a second. Boom.
Yeah.
Before, no one understands. My kids certainly have no idea what it was like to drive to a store and have to rent a video. You know, be kind, please rewind, and when you take
Exactly.
it back at the weekend, maybe you'd be penalized, $1 or whatever because you didn't rewind your damn tape. Just stupid shit. It's just amazing now, man. And here we have, YouTube, and just boom, you
Yeah.
can watch that movie
Right.
right this second,
Right.
boom.
Everything's so instant right now,
Instant, yeah.
Oh my gosh. But well, cool, man. So everybody can of course I guess the Nixons have a website. I know they're on Facebook,
Yeah,
Um
the
okay.
nixonsofficial.com is the
That's what I was
website.
thinking. Official, okay.
Yeah,
And then of
yeah,
course Seether. What is
yeah,
theirs?
Seether.com.
Seether.com. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. And of
yeah,
course they're on Facebook too. You can get from both bands. You can get onto all your streaming platforms, and don't stream it, download it. Nobody makes money off
right.
damn streaming. Um, it's crazy. I mean,
I understand. Again, that goes back. It's like YouTube, man. I understand how convenient that is.
right?
What's been kind of cool to see is I'm a big vinyl guy,
Yeah.
And my kids, it's funny, they listen, yes, they listen to music on Spotify, but they also have vinyl collections. It's
Okay.
really kind of a trip to see vinyl kind of making a comeback as far as a physical format.
Yeah.
That's kind of come back. You know, my kids have record players, and Jackson has a stereo, and so that's kind of cool. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it's kind of neat
Yeah,
to
and I
see,
noticed
right?
y'all had some, Seether had not Seether, Nixon's had some vinyl out.
Yeah,
And I should
yeah.
have bought the damn first EP. I didn't, like an idiot, but
Uh,
hopefully they'll still be around for a little while. But I know that
oh
they're,
yeah,
you know, the guy that was running the merch table that night was like, "Yeah, these won't be around for long," and blah. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah.
everybody says that, whatever."
So yeah, I just will throw out. So the Nixon's official, the website, we have a store there,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, merchandise is there and vinyls there, and yeah, yeah, vinyls. We've got vinyl there for sure.
Oh shoot, I don't have it with it's upstairs, but I actually got the sew on patch, the Nixon's
Oh, nice.
patch. So
Yeah,
to go on my jacket. So shoot, yeah.
very
I like those kind instead of the complete
like
sewn
stick
on or
or
yeah,
yeah,
the hard
yeah.
ones or whatever. That's actually kind of cool that just that um
Kind of pin it
material.
on or whatever.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah,
do.
just that material, it's like a piece of
Yeah,
just a material is thin and you can put it on there.
right.
So I can sew that on, myself.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but shoot, yeah, man. So any shows coming up for the Nixons? And if they are, is Jackson gonna be playing or
Well, actually, I'm going to be kind of juggling both. The way it'll
okay.
work, I have a show as it works every week in the month of August. So we have one more show for the Everclear Fastball Tour. The Nixons will open in Kannapolis, North Carolina, and
Okay.
that's next Saturday. That's the 6th, August 6th. And so I'll fly. It's a fly show for us.
Okay.
And then we play in Grand Prairie, Texas, a big show with Soul Asylum. That'll be the
Oh
12th of
wow.
August. That's
Okay.
with the
Cool.
Nixons. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to that because we toured with Soul Asylum back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was another band we toured with. So that's kind of cool. And then I have a festival with Seether
Okay.
in August 19th.
Okay.
And
And then a
then
couple in
yeah, and then a couple in September,
right.
Rocklahoma and
Mm-hmm.
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge.
And yeah, and that'll take us through September. So by October, that should be sort of winding down.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, I'll be doing that Bonzo Bash in Kansas City, October 1st.
That's
And
cool, man.
yeah,
Is that a big deal? I mean, is that open to not meaning open to the public, but I mean it's a you know big thing. People are
yeah,
coming, buying tickets to go to it and everything.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
I'll put that up on my social media, which is John Humphrey official. Anyone who wants to follow me,
Right.
and I'll put up information about that. Yeah, that's in Kansas
Cool.
City,
Cool.
and
I'd
yeah,
like to
that's
check that
October
out if I
1st.
can. So
Absolutely, yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
cool, man. Well, I will let you get off of here. It's been great talking to you.
yeah, thanks, man.
And yeah, and I hope to see. Well, now I got to see Seether. I hadn't seen Seether yet, so I've seen the Nixons 3 times.
Wow, cool. Yeah, you got to see Seether. So have you
Yeah,
not seen Seether at all when you missed that show? You said
yeah,
in
yeah. When
Jackson,
they came to Jackson, well, living in Jackson, Mississippi, we didn't get a lot of shows. We did in the
right,
'80s, the '90s. They kind of were very sparse,
right,
and I might have been out of town, but being in a band, I was probably on the road somewhere.
right.
And that's another thing that sucks when you're a
Oh yeah,
musician, you miss a lot of stuff because
I missed a lot of great shows. I have. Unfortunately, I'll be like,
damn it.
man, we're gonna go see, whatever it was, the Eagles,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
before Glenn Fry passed away, and everybody's going, and I'm like, ah, I'm on tour, man. Shit.
I just saw where Nikki sick shit. Stevie Nicks is going on tour, and I'm like, damn,
Oh wow,
I've never
yeah,
seen her live, so
yeah.
that's
I
something
haven't
I'd
either.
like,
That would be awesome.
you
Yeah,
know.
that would be great.
Yeah. So so excuse me, definitely might be going to check that out. So
Yeah,
but yeah, man, definitely. And I will stay in touch with you. And like I said, you put that on there for the Bonzo fest or show or whatever. So is that just a
we'll
1 day
do.
show?
Yeah, yeah, just a
Okay.
1-day performance. Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Cool.
think they're gonna yeah, that's in that's Kansas City,
Mhm.
and then I think the next day they're talking about having an open house in WFL3. Their factory's just right outside of Kansas City, so
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
man, if you're in the area, come by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
going
will.
to Kansas City for the weekend. It should be cool.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll hit up old Jason Satterfield and be like, "Hey, man," because he goes to every damn thing.
He
So,
does. I love
yeah,
Jason.
I'll be
He's
like,
the
"Hey,
man.
you want to go? Let's go." So,
Gotta make a trip. We're headed to Kansas City, October
yeah,
1st.
yeah, no doubt. So, well, he's a Kansas City fan anyway. So, you
There you
know,
go.
but all right. Well, John, I appreciate it, man. It's been great talking
Thank
to you,
you.
and
I
I
appreciate it.
will definitely be pushing this out there. And like I said, it's live, but
Yeah.
sometimes we get people on, sometimes we don't. I was hoping maybe some people would get on and ask some questions, but you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But we will
That's cool.
definitely.
Will this be archived anywhere? Anybody can watch later
Oh yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. It's going to
is
be
this
on. Like the links I sent you. You'll be able to find
okay.
it anywhere on Facebook, but it's definitely on YouTube, my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I sent
Okay.
that link to you. So just send that out to anybody. So
Awesome.
and well, actually, what I'll do is once this gets on, this once we finish this, I'll send you the link to the YouTube actual
Okay.
video. So
Yeah. Perfect.
all right. Well, I
All right,
appreciate it.
man.
And take
Thank you.
care and have a good time out there, man.
Okay, you too. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
dude. All right. Be good.
Bye-bye.